Alright everyone, welcome back to a year in the TikTok of FatSapphicBro. We will be covering this person more often right now. They're the next on my list. I'm just working my way up the list of all of the different creators. And FatSapphicBro is the next one. And I have a feeling it's going to take us a while to get through them. One thing I will say is I will be not responding as much to stuff that is not fat acceptance related as I did before. That, with the exception being this, I'm gonna probably respond to anything regarding diabetes, just because I have strong opinions about it. But although I still think that kind of falls under the fat acceptance umbrella based on how FatSapphicBro tends to frame that stuff. But anyway, something to know: I'm pretty fucking tired. It was spring forward, daylight savings time. And on top of that, someone woke me up at 6:30 on a fucking Sunday. So I am not in the best of moods. And I'm a little tired, which is really fucking annoying. And yeah. Something else to note is that I find FatSapphicBro very exhausting to get through. It's not that I don't like covering them. I like covering them. They're pretty rage-inducing. They're pretty entertaining to cover. But I need them in slightly smaller doses than I do in other fat acceptance creators. So while this video would typically be about an hour and a half, I'm going to aim for an hour. If we get more than that, great. But I'm lowering my threshold for what I will consider done with this video, which is an hour. But I will also probably be covering them almost every week, because in order for me to get through them, I need to keep up a habit and a level of consistency. And doing it every week, an hour, and then a half hour when I cover two creators, is probably what I'm going to do a lot of the time. So, with all of that out of the way, one more thing. They make a lot of claims. And I can't research every single one of their claims. We will never get through them if I try to research every single one of their claims. So primarily, I will only respond with research when they present research. At least some quasi-research or something like that. I might do something a little less formal and not look for necessarily research studies, but in the terms of shit that they say about diabetes, I might just pull up CDC or not CDC. There's something else. But depending on what it is they're talking about, if they're talking about heart disease, I might refer to the American Heart Association, that sort of thing. Not quite full-on studies that I have to log into my university and stuff for. So there's gonna be some more variety that's going on with FatSapphicBro. And I didn't mean to make this intro too terribly long, but FatSapphicBro requires me to lay some ground rules of what I'm covering and how I'm covering it, just because it's such an ordeal sometimes going through their channel. But without further ado, let's get started.
Harsh realities. There isn't an organ system in the body that isn't put under
harsh realities. We don't give a fuck. I've read the research, and I've read all of the research that contradicts everything you're saying. Because a lot of the research that people like you like to quote are research that's funded by shell corporations for diet companies. But you wouldn't know that because you are not educated on this topic like I am. Again, we don't care here. Your bullshit isn't welcome here. Your opinions aren't welcome here. Stop using my videos for stuff. Stop addressing me. Stay off my page.
Harsh reality.
Oh my god. I mean, right out of the fucking gate. I don't even know, is it this, are we saying narcissism here? Are we saying inflated ego? Are we saying just Dunning-Kruger effect? What are we gonna say with FatSapphicBro here? So, let's start with the research. Well, no, let's start with the I don't care thing. If you don't care, then you don't care. That's fine. You don't have to care about what the general medical profession views as legitimate research and valuable research, and like, you don't have to believe anything if you don't want to. The fact, though, that you position yourself as though you are an authority and you say that you've read all of you say you've read all of the research. You say you've read the research, and then you say you've read all of the research that contradicts everything that this person is saying. And one, that just goes to show, like, I understand that FatSapphicBro doesn't have a job and that they have a lot of free time on their hands. I don't think that they have the access to all of the medical research around obesity for the past 10 years and have read every single study there is. I do not believe that for a second. Concept of that and this is another thing, is that for someone who claims to be so educated and so, like, well researched, this claim that basically every bit of research that goes into talking about how obesity has negative health effects, that every single one of those are done by shell companies for diet corporations or diet culture or whatever the fuck they said, is just one. For someone who claims to be as educated and well-researched, you would think that they would understand not to speak in absolutes like that. Just number one, right off the bat. And two, that's categorically ignoring the fact that ones that say that obesity doesn't have any effect on your health could also be done by shell corporations for fast food industries or general food industries that profit off obesity, like McDonald's, like the easy box dinner sort of things you see at the grocery store. So I would say that there's probably some research out there, just even within the past year, 2 years, that was funded by a company that would benefit from the results that it produced. That happens to say that there is no research in the past 5 years or ever or whatever that never had stipulations or a general background like that would be foolish for me to put forth. So I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm not saying that's not currently happening. I am saying, though, that not every single research study on obesity that is done that says that it has negative health outcomes is done with some sort of company profiting off it in the background. I think that that's just foolish. And I would even say so on the other side, that saying that there are no negative health effects of obesity, although I don't know what these research articles are. I do wish FatSapphicBro would cite some. I think some of them probably are from there is a background here of companies that would profit off this narrative being put forth. I would not say, though, that all of them are like that. So this whole concept that, and just the audacity and the arrogance of, like, well, you're just uneducated. Dude, you don't have a job, you didn't finish your graduate degree, and while that doesn't mean that you can't research and you can't understand the fundamental effects of research, we've looked at your research sometimes and you misrepresent shit. Like, oh my god, like, it's the arrogance, it's the absolute statements being put forth, it's everything. It is everything, and I shouldn't have waited to do this video until next weekend when I could have actually slept more, because I'm already exhausted and it's only been one TikTok. So we're moving forward.
This person asks, you can cure diabetes? Yes, absolutely. With a little bit of a caveat. Once you are a diabetic, you are always at risk of becoming a diabetic again. Even if you get your A1C, and that's the number that tells you whether or not you're a diabetic, once you get your A1C to 5.5 and below, that's considered a normal, non-diabetic number. That's not even the pre-diabetic range. That's just completely normal. And once you hit that point, you're basically what's considered a well-controlled diabetic. You're technically a diabetic, but not really, because you have a normal A1C. But the only reason that you're still technically considered a diabetic is because once you have become one, once your A1C has gone over 5.5, there's a higher probability that you can get there again, or that it can get bad again if you're not careful about whatever management techniques you used to cure the diabetes. So for me, I did a lot of lifestyle changes, and I have a video where I talk about it. If you want to see that, I will pin it in the comment in this video. And then I will also pin, there's another video where I talk about diabetes, and I'll pin them both in a little comment thread for you to check out. And in that, I walk you through everything that I have done to basically cure my diabetes. My last A1C was a couple months ago, and it was 5.5, which is the normal range. So I am no longer considered a diabetic, but I am considered like a well-controlled diabetic because I could get it again, basically. At one point, I was on 3 different medications. I am now on 1 medication. I am continuing to...
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta stop it here. I've been that meme of the woman looking in every direction while doing complex math. Oh my god, there's so much wrong here. Saying cure for diabetes, I feel, is a little misleading. I think it's more accurate to say you can be treated for diabetes. The fact that you are on any medication, it does not mean but your A1C is below 5.5 doesn't mean that you're cured. It means that you are treated. If you're still on medication, okay. The way that I understand that it works, and something worth noting, is that neither FatSapphicBro nor myself are medical professionals. I just want to put that out there. I have a serious family history of diabetes. Thankfully, I do not have it, but literally every person in my maternal line, with the exception of my mother, my aunt, myself, and my sister, has had diabetes. So I just want to put that out there. I also have some on my paternal line as well, but my maternal line, following the women in my family all the way back, following my mother, my grandmother, and so on and so forth, that whole line, diabetes has run significantly. And to say that the diabetes is cured is misinformation right there. So diabetes can be put into remission. Typically, the way I've seen this done is through diet and exercise, and being able to lower your A1C naturally without medication. If you have medication to control your diabetes and are a well-controlled diabetic, it means that you are still a diabetic, simply that the medication that's being put forth for you has made it to where the diabetes is well-controlled. From what I understand, FatSapphicBro is on metformin. I believe the metformin is the diabetes medication that they're using. This just means that you are being treated for diabetes, and the treatment is successful, and therefore your diabetes is well managed. It does not mean that you don't have diabetes anymore. If you went off that medication, your A1C level would rise. This is such a dumb, the weird thing is that I see what they're saying. It's just so misinformed. And they say it with such authority that it's like, what the fuck are you doing? If you are on medication for diabetes, then you have diabetes. It's not that you don't have diabetes anymore. It's not that your diabetes was cured. Your diabetes is being treated. For fuck's sake. That's like saying they're on blood pressure meds too, I think. I think it's blood pressure meds. If your blood pressure is elevated to the point where you need medication and the medication brings it down to a normal level, you still have blood pressure issues. They are just being treated. I don't understand that. I've heard of diabetes going into remission, meaning that the person doesn't need medication anymore and that their blood glucose levels are being managed by their body again. Like they've regained insulin sensitivity or whatever it is that is needed for the diabetes to be considered in remission. The fact that you are still on medication at all, though, to control your blood glucose levels doesn't even indicate remission. This is just... I think we have some nurses and some doctors that watch these. So if I'm completely off the mark, please feel free to comment. There's just from my understanding of medicine. This is, and in fact, we're just gonna look real quick. So, something worth noting is that when you do a Google search for can diabetes be cured, it says there is no cure yet. This is from Diabetes UK. There's no diabetes cure from WebMD. Medical News Today, no cure for diabetes currently exists. Northern Nevada Medical Center, there is no cure for type 2 diabetes. So, I'm also curious, what does it take for diabetes to be in remission? So, remission of your HbA1c, a measure of long-term blood glucose levels, remains below 48 mmol/mol or 6.5% for at least 3 months without diabetes medication. Without diabetes medication. That is the big... It's without medication. So as far as I can tell, I've got this right. Diabetes remission from My Way Diabetes Somerset. Diabetes remission in people with type 2 is when your blood glucose levels are at normal range without having to take any diabetes. I'm guessing medication right there. I don't understand. I'm just baffled that they think that while they are still on medication for diabetes, that they've somehow had their diabetes cured, and now they're trying to give people advice on how to cure. It's just so fucking dangerous. It's so fucking dangerous. I'm not even watching those TikToks about what they did, because I think we've covered them before, and quite frankly, I don't have the energy to deal with this bullshit from even longer ago when we're trying to get through FatSapphicBro. But my god, please, I wish TikTok would flag their, because sometimes like they'll have these little banner things of, you know, this is a dangerous task, do not attempt, and they have one too for like misinformation. That should be put all over the FatSapphicBro diabetes TikToks. They should not be talking about this. They don't fucking know what they are talking about, and it's the one thing that they do more than their fat acceptance, more than some of their talk about things that are still going on in the medical community and being discussed, more than any of that, more than them doing their what I eat in a days and saying that they're healthy and that they are just chronically ill and that they are just this big victim of the world, more than anything else. And is there misinformation around diabetes that just boggles my mind, upsets me, frustrates me, and it hits that little rage reaction from me because it is just so much bullshit. We'll go ahead and finish this TikTok. I don't anticipate responding more to it, but we'll finish it and then we'll move on.
What's the word? I'm continuing to progress in the lifestyle changes that I have made, and as my A1C gets lower, I will get to a point where I can stop this last medication too. And this is true of, I mean, only specifically type 2. Type 1, that's not, you can't cure that, but for type 2, there are a lot of things that you can do that do not include weight loss that will get you back into a normal A1C range and can even get you off of your diabetes medications.
Okay, but I'm wrong. I'm gonna respond. There are lifestyle changes that can be made. I still am an advocate for losing weight to help with diabetes, because it does, because fat is hormonally active, insulin is considered a hormone. There is a higher level of insulin resistance with, okay, you know what? Nope, we're gonna go. So, I am still in favor of losing weight because, as this is from the Mayo Clinic, losing weight can have a big impact on those with diabetes. So this was like a Q&A question. Dear Mayo Clinic, can type 2 diabetes be cured just by losing weight? Answer. Losing weight can have a big impact on diabetes, although it might not cure type 2 diabetes in every case. Getting a healthy body weight does have that potential for many people. Even if it doesn't completely cure the disease, losing weight may make it possible for people with diabetes to take less medication. It often helps manage or prevent some of the health problems that come with diabetes too. And this is a fairly long one. I won't go into reading all of it. We kind of get the gist. So losing weight would still help. I do think that healthier Lifestyle changes, especially reducing your general sugar intake, would probably also be a huge benefit. That being said, I don't really like the word cure. It's the diabetes goes into remission. And the reason for that is very much what they presented, is that it's like you're more likely to get it again because you're in remission. You still, like, it's not active anymore. It's not something that actively needs to be treated. So for all intents and purposes, you can kind of see that as a cure, but you can come out of remission as well. I hope that they don't go on a whole diabetes tangent. I don't know if I have it in me today to address all of the bullshit.
This person says, dude, you're literally contradicting most doctors' narrative. Yeah, no shit, I talk about this constantly. Literally, this entire platform is talking about medical fat phobia and the fat phobia within the medical industrial complex, and the fact that doctors are lying to us literally constantly. If you watch any of my videos...
That is such... I really don't like the generalization that doctors are lying. Like, there's doctors that aren't as good at their jobs as other doctors. 100%. There are doctors that definitely don't take you seriously when they should. That is 100% true. To say that doctors are actively lying and actively looking to basically deceive you is such a toxic narrative to put forth, and causes, like, you are not a medical professional, and yet you are encouraging people to ignore their doctors and trust you. And I'm not saying that just for this one TikTok. We've seen that with FatSapphicBro and a variety of TikToks. It's just, my God, this is... I know I've been using the term conspiracy theory thinking a lot, but I really am getting that vibe more and more from FatSapphicBro. Doctors are lying to you. Trust me. Kind of reminds me of scientists are lying about the Earth being round. Trust me in what I see, and I see no curve on the world as I stand on it, and therefore the Earth is flat. It seems so conspiracy-esque to me.
Where I present articles, I talk about this all of the time, and the research is so easy to do. There are so many research articles out there about how the majority of the research around obesity is hella biased and also often super incorrect.
The thing is, though, is that I never see them, like, investigate their own, the sources of research that back up their claims. Like, they don't take a look at who was funding that research. They don't take a look at the legitimacy of the research. Was it double blind if it was an experiment, like a control study, like, or not control study, you guys know what I mean. Oh God, I'm tired. The point is being that they don't question their own research that they take into account. And I'm pretty sure, I know it happened with Fat Doctor UK, but I could have sworn it happened with FatSapphicBro too, where they completely misrepresented something in an article that we actually looked up and read.
Again, you're new here, I guess. I don't know, but I don't have time, dude. So on most of my videos about medical fat phobia in particular, the comments are usually filled with people sharing their stories, and not in a bad way, but trauma dumping their own experiences with medical fat phobia. And I have no problem with this. In fact, I welcome it, because I think that we need safe spaces, or spaces in general, to talk about this. And I think that the people who hate us the way they do need to hear our stories. And so the other night, in the middle of the night, while incredibly medicated, I was struck with the idea of, why do we not have any documentaries about medical fat phobia and the absolute horrific bullshit that we are put through as fat people within.
So I just want to put forth my, because they're like, why don't we have any medical documentaries on medical fat phobia? My big answer to this question is, well, I think that bias against fat people does exist within the medical field, and while it can actually hurt patients and make things worse, by and large, the biggest issue with being taken seriously with fat people is their lack of adherence to medical treatment, or their outright denial of the medical treatment. Because the truth is that weight can affect a number of things in the body. fat is hormonally active, and that can cause a number of issues. So when you refuse to take any steps towards losing weight, any agreement to adherence of a medical treatment program, then the doctors aren't going to take you as seriously. Now, sometimes this can be detrimental, but more often than not, a lot of the health issues that come from being morbidly obese are what is contributing to your issues, not the doctor refusing to give you medication because maybe you're not at the point. Like, I know that there's thresholds for medication. I'm not a doctor, but I just know that there's like certain thresholds to meet before you can get treatment for something. So if you're not quite at those thresholds and you're really fat, then the answer would be something along the lines of preventative medication, maybe a bit of proactive medicine, but mostly it's like, no, lose weight to help prevent this from progressing. Make these behavioral changes, make these lifestyle changes to prevent it from progressing. While I'm sure there's some issue with bias against fat people, I think there's also an issue with, especially a growing issue given what we've seen with the fat acceptance community, of fat people. And again, not all fat people, but there is what I think is a significant chunk of fat people that will just absolutely refuse to try treatments because it requires them to lose weight.
The medical industrial complex. So, tossing around the idea of working on something like this. And this is not the only documentary idea that I have. I've thought about doing documentaries for several years now. But I don't know how to do a lot of that stuff. But if there are folks out here who are interested, and there are folks who have the skills who want to work with me, I would love to get a group of us together to work on a documentary about medical fat phobia and the effects of medical fat phobia. And if I were to do that, I would of course want a lot of stories from people. So if this is something that you have the skills to do and help with, let me know in the comments. If this is something that you would want to share your story and be a part of in some capacity in that way, let me know in the comments. You can also DM me, and my email.
I'm leaving that there and we're about to move on. I will just say, I'm not going to comment on whether I think that they would do a decent job. I don't think that they... Actually, I am going to comment. I don't think that they would. I think it would be an incredibly biased documentary, and they probably wouldn't hold themselves to any significant standard in vetting their claims. That being said, should this ever come to light and be put anywhere, I will watch it and do reaction to it, because I'm just curious to know what they would come up with.
While I do not want to address the person who was obnoxious that this comment came from, I do want to talk about this comment because it's important. This person says, I was called names. Okay, and I was denied medical care. They're different. Yes. Feeling out of place in your body, feeling insecure about your body, being called names, being told you're fat even though you're not fat, being told you need to lose weight when you don't, etc., that is not the same as systemic fat phobia. Being denied actual medical care is systemic fat phobia.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure that at least FatSapphicBro would define being denied medical care as being presented with a weight loss plan as a form of treatment. They would I would bet money that FatSapphicBro would consider that being denied medical care, because they don't view weight loss as a tool. They view it as a form of oppression or some bullshit. So I'm glad that they can at least make the distinction between those two things, sort of. But we know FatSapphicBro would view, like, they use the term like coercive weight loss to describe when doctors insist on people losing weight. So, I don't know. I take FatSapphicBro is someone in particular. I always take everything they say with a grain of salt.
Being denied surgeries, being denied medications, being denied treatment options.
Okay, but if you are denied surgeries, chances are that it's because there's a higher risk given your weight. Like that's a genuine concern. There could be issues around like the anesthesia. There could be issues depending on where it is in the body of recovery rates. Are you dying on the operating table, or any host of complications because of your weight? Medications could be the result of maybe once you're past a certain weight, the effectiveness of them goes down and they can only scale up so much in a dosage. I'm not saying that this never happens, but I'm saying that there's more going on behind the scenes that I think FatSapphicBro isn't aware of, that the weight can affect how these treatments will interact with the body. And that has to be taken into consideration, and that's not inherently prejudice against them. It's a matter of, at least my understanding of medicine is that it's kind of a constant weighing of risks versus benefits. Like I don't think there's anything like wholly just good. The things that have like the highest benefits with the lowest risks would be behavioral, lifestyle changes, weight loss, that sort of thing that can be done naturally without a chemical intervention, a chemical or like an invasive surgery intervention.
Having an entire weight loss industry and bariatric surgery industry set up around making you not look the way that you look is systemic fat phobia. Feeling shitty because when you...
So there's a little caption here that says, I'm sick of people chasing oppressed identities. We get it. You need to be a victim in your life, but leave us out of it when we deal with actual oppression. And the thing is that bariatric surgery isn't about changing the way that you look. Like, that is such a reductive way of looking at that medical treatment avenue. Bariatric surgery is for those that are so large that the likelihood of them being able to lose weight on their own is fairly low. So it's used as a tool in that regard. But also that their weight is so dangerously high that they need the surgical intervention in order to speed up the process as well, so that way they won't die before they actually start losing the weight. Like this, my 600-pound life covers this a lot. So
do this, you have one tiny little roll. It's not the same fucking thing as systemic fat phobia. Get the hell over it, people. I don't understand why we have to keep explaining this to y'all. And again, I am sick of like the fat people who have bought into like the mentality that their fatness is inherently a problem, who like come at us about this. Find something else to do. We literally don't care. But yeah, there's a huge fucking difference between feeling insecure in your body or being made fun of because of your size and actual whole ass systemic fat phobia that you deal with in literally every single section of your life.
all right, I have nothing more to say. Let's move on.
Hey y'all, update on the documentary about medical fat phobia. This definitely looks like there's a lot of interest in folks who want to help. I will be working on a form for y'all to fill out if you are interested in either sharing your story or participating in any other way. A lot of my content is being suppressed right now because of some troll behavior from others, but I am doing my best to keep my platform going and to get information to y'all as quickly as I can. I have a lot of content recorded and saved and almost ready to upload. I just have to do subtitles and things like that. But I have to release things kind of slowly because of the way my content is being suppressed. So just to keep a lookout, I will post a video once I have...
So I'm going to just stop it there. Like I said before, If this should actually be released, like actually finished and be released, I will cover it. But I don't have anything to really comment on this update, so we're going to just move on.
I'm very direct. People often take that as hateful. But really what it comes down to is obesity is a health...
Hey there. I realize you were probably a fetus when the obesity panic first started, but there's a lot of science and research on weight and health that you should look into. Weight or BMI is not a good metric for health. You want a metric for health that isn't weight-based? Use the...
Okay, I'm sorry. I gotta jump in right here, especially since FatSapphicBro isn't talking. I'm actually thinking of, let's see, this creator is 3Track Mind. We might actually look them up and add them to our list of creators to look at since they're saying this bullshit. The idea that, I mean, the fat acceptance group, this is something I've noticed, is that they act like weight and BMI is the only markers of health that's ever used by the doctor's office. And that's just, like, just because they aren't ideal metrics of health on their own doesn't mean that they can't be combined with other metrics of health, and that's why they take blood pressure, and that's why they take your oxygen level when you go, especially if you go for any sort of respiratory thing. They check your blood oxygen level. They check, often blood tests are done to check levels of different things depending on what you're complaining about. Like, there's a variety of other metrics that's used to determine health. And the BMI and the weight one is just the simplest one taken. Like, it's not the be-all, end-all, but it is a metric. It is one metric of many that is used. To act like the BMI and your weight is the only metric of health that is ever used by medical professionals is just, one, disingenuous, and two, categorically false. Like, and for the majority of people that will focus on BMI or weight, that is because it is the thing that you can most control on your own. That's why, like, I'm working on losing weight. Why? Because I can control my weight far easier than I can control other metrics of health. I can't really control my blood pressure directly. I can control it through behavioral changes, but most of those behavioral changes would also coincide with weight loss. So losing weight would help would help my health as a whole because it affects these other metrics of health.
Metabolic indicators: blood lipids, blood sugar, blood pressure. If those three are
They take those into consideration too, but those are not the be-all, end-all of your health.
in the good range and you're still fat, that's fine. Anyone telling you otherwise, that weight is the one and only true metric of health, is selling you a load of bullshit.
Who says? I'm curious. In what world does anyone say that weight is the sole measure and the sole metric of good health? Who in the fuck says that? There is a focus on it in general because it is the thing that you can control most easily, like I said before, but it is, I don't know anyone that considers it the sole metric of health.
They're selling you weight loss. They're selling you weight loss as the cure for all your ills. And just saying false does not make something not true. Weight and health are independent. And there's a shitload of contributors to weight that have nothing to do with a person's lifestyle choices. Endocrine disruptors, for a second. Why don't you look that up? Also, losing weight will lead to people gaining more weight over the long term. Show me one.
Alright, I'm done with that bullshit. Now, losing weight could result in weight gain in the long term. No, that's only if you go on one of those crash diets and then you rebound, and then, yeah, you'll probably gain weight back plus a little bit more. But if you're working on lifestyle changes and things that you can sustainably do, it takes a lot fucking longer, but it's far more sustainable. And the different things that contribute to weight, I'm not going to necessarily deny those. I think that there are multiple things that can contribute to your weight. That being said, habit and lifestyle still take up a good chunk of what contributes to your weight. Now, maybe if you have a hard time, let's say that you are constantly hovering in a low overweight BMI. Maybe it really is just, I don't know if I would say not possible, but not sustainable for you to get down to the healthy weight range. Fine. I'll give you that. Let's say that you are consistently maybe 10, 15 pounds overweight. And that just is what it is. That's very different from FatSapphicBro, who's like 430 pounds. there's a big difference there between, you know, I'm trying to have a healthy weight and yet I can't seem to shed these last 10, 15 pounds. And it's frustrating, but if you really are doing all of the healthy lifestyle changes and stuff, I would say that those 10, 15 pounds aren't as consequential as your healthy habits. That being said, I think if you are in the, like, I was in the obese, I am just now in the overweight category, and I know that there's still some things that I could do better. These past 2 weeks, I've been stress eating because I fucking hate my classes right now. And you know what's happened? I gained 2 pounds. I think that these 2 pounds, I think part of it will be easy. I think 1 pound is kind of a natural weight fluctuation, and 1 pound is a pound of fat that I gained back. And I will need to work to lose that weight again. And it's frustrating and it sucks, but I realized that this was due to unhealthy habits that I fell back into because I was stressed. You can't, how you eat, what you eat, and your lifestyle habits contribute to your weight. And in that way, weight is definitely a marker of health. And if you are significantly overweight, if you are obese, type 1, type 2, or class 1, class 2, class 3, doesn't matter. You need to lose weight, and you have the ability to lose that weight.
I don't think you say that.
So the original TikToker is responding to a comment that says, "You're not even all that cute to begin with. Maybe some weight will do you good." To me, this guy looks fine. Like, to me, he looks like a healthy weight. He doesn't look like real skinny or anything. Like, and let's say that you don't find him cute. So fucking what? But whatever.
Come for how I look if I was fat, because that wouldn't be very body positive.
I'm sorry, are you under the impression that fat people are treated nicely on the internet?
So, no one's saying that fat people are treated nicely, but I don't like the idea that, I don't care for the narrative that fat people are, like, the most attacked people on the internet, because I think while they probably get a bit more criticism than, like, an average-sized person, I think a good portion of the people that we see getting the majority of negative comments are people like FatSapphicBro that say dumb shit, bullshit stuff, and act like they know far more than they do, which is I think attitude accounts for a lot more of the comments you get than like your appearance. Like, don't get me wrong, you'll still get hate for your appearance, you'll still get hate for, like, your gender, or maybe your sexual orientation, or your weight. Attitude accounts for a lot.
Like, I have news for you, dude. Pause to read them.
So we'll go ahead and go through these real quick. GI dying of some heart disease. You are 420 pounds. The human body is not meant to support your size, and you can't do things 90% of people can't do. Please stop giving medical advice. I don't see how this is hate. I fucking feel this comment so fucking much. Why are you glorifying obesity? You know that what's not cute, you or anyone who's your massive size. Obesity is not okay. It's a disease, and people's like him who are lazy try to normalize it. That's the problem. Like, these last three they're not attacking you because you're fat. They're attacking you because of your attitude and the shit that you're spewing. Let's see. Next group say, not mad. I'll be quite happy to hear you died of heart failure in the next 5 years. Okay, that one was mean. Yeah, until he is in the hospital and can't breathe. I think that this is, given that this is likely responding to something incorrect that FatSapphicBro was spewing, I don't necessarily have a problem with that one. Can I please get a trigger warning, fat people trigger me? Okay, that's a little trolly comment, but I gotta admit, I kind of find it funny. Take better care of yourself then, boy. Don't have a problem with that one. Next group says, you don't look too happy eating like that, though. Man up and lose weight for health purposes, not to please yourself or others. Just an advice. Don't ask people to feel bad when your fat ass breaks chairs. Okay, I know this one sounds rude, but there are those that, like, get upset because the chairs can't support them, and FatSapphicBro is one of them. So to a certain extent, I kind of agree. Don't get mad when you break chairs. Don't get mad at others when you break chairs, because the human body's not necessarily meant to be 400 pounds. Sorry, don't find cardiovascular diseases attractive. I don't have a problem with that. The fact he blocked me, I couldn't respond. I'm not embarrassed. The fact they keep blocking my account shows I'm right. I don't agree with the misgendering. I don't fault people so much when they use like he, him to refer to FatSapphicBro. I did that myself because that's how they kind of present themselves, and before they put the they, them things in their description and stuff, it was just easy to miss. This person used she, her pronouns, which I feel like is meant to kind of attack their trans identity, which does make you more of an asshole. But when it comes to talking about obesity, yeah, it's just very little of this was what I would consider harassment.
Yeah, they just keep coming.
Next group says, if you want to be treated like other people, then lose the weight. Otherwise, you do it to yourself, and we don't need to cater to you. My guy, you are not healthy. I know. I don't want to. The little play thing is covering it. Something asshat lost weight. They would have nothing to talk about. I disagree with this. I think that FatSapphicBro is a professional victim and would find plenty of things to complain about. Everything is disgusting in this video, depending on what comment this video is on. Like, I find a lot of FatSapphicBro's diabetes content to be fucking disgusting because of the information that it spews. So I could see this one being personally supporting this one.
It literally never ends.
Next group says, but if he wasn't gay or almost dying, would you say he is cute? What's wrong with jail? It's a place for people that are a danger to society. Your one experience doesn't define police or jail. You need to be jailed. You're a danger to society for endorsing illness. Bro, that is seriously unhealthy. If you love yourself and care for yourself, if you love yourself and care for your well-being, you need to try to reduce the amount of junk food you eat. Why is this one? See, some of them like seem like they are genuinely trying to either get a rise, or they're trying to be mean, or they're trying to troll. But like a quarter to a half of these seem perfectly reasonable.
This isn't even kind of all of them.
Okay, I don't care if I'm gonna start covering. I don't care if they identify as a hippo. That thing is still classified as obese. Okay, that was fucking rude. And so are you, whether it hurts your feelings or not. That's the truth. I don't have a problem with you're still classified as obese. I have a problem with this person saying that thing. I don't think that that's right to say to a human being. One day you're gonna see that this dude doesn't post anymore, and it will likely be because they had a stroke or a heart attack. I'm glad you're okay with that. Don't glorify it, because you're really just brainwashing yourself and your followers to fall into bad, dangerous habits, and then you want to cry about it. Was it medical abuse when you ate the whole table? That was kind of rude, but it was funny. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna just start, because FatSapphicBro is just talking about basically how they're oppressed. This isn't even kind of all of them. I get harassed daily. But I am curious to know what these comments that they're listing as part of their like bullying is, because some of them does genuinely seem like a bullying content or a bullying comment, but a lot of these just seem like either posing a different viewpoint or calling out their bullshit. Visual demonstration of why bullying should be allowed in circumstances, because people like this get too comfortable. Yeah, they're trying to tell you something. I can see the insolence resistance around your eyes. Why the fuck would you want to glorify being, I'm guessing this is fat, as where's the achievement? Are you just trying to force people's to accept this unnatural shit because CBA losing weight? This is honestly hilarious, since when is being morbidly obese and at high risk for blood clots and heart failure a good thing? Get on a treadmill, bro. Next group says, your heart's gonna stop in the next 3 to 4 years, pal. Go to the gym. You're a grown man. What are you doing with your life? I'm not even being rude. I can't believe people like this. You were on the Ben Shapiro show, meaning your stupidity and wokeness is next level. Also, what gender are you? I can feel the diabetes. I bet your toes are tingling. I shouldn't laugh. It just means you're a total idiot if you consider that a compliment. Kudos. You really look in the mirror and think you and this dude are normal. And this looks like a DM. Nope, I'll straight up tell you it ain't no hate. It's positive encouragement, but you're ignorant to turn this into victimization. Since you don't want to do anything about it, keep getting fat and keep breaking chairs. Feel uncomfortable in breaking another chair? Do something about it. You're lazy, pathetic, and weak to do anything about yourself and want others to do it in the same miserable way as you. Bet you have a ton of health problems. Being unhealthy is not something we should promote. Instead of eating for 5, eat for yourself. Donate to the less fortunate. Feel better about yourself. Look for others to bring your self-esteem up. By the way, I don't give a fuck about your fatness. You fat fuck, do something about it. Kind of contradicted yourself at the end there, and while this is not softly put, I can't say I disagree with their sentiment. Okay, it looks like they're going to talk about this one for a moment, so we'll listen to that.
What's worse, some of these aren't even the worst things that have been said. Oh, and I'm regularly circulated. My videos are regularly circulated on Ben Shapiro's compilation videos and on Libs of TikTok. But sure, people wouldn't treat you that way if you were fat.
Okay, your video circulating has nothing to do with you being fat. It has to do with the misinformation that you spread and your fucking arrogance. Like, even a lot of those comments were more about the bullshit that you're spewing than about the fact that you're fat. And yet you group everything together because they're like, do you realize that your own advice is bad? You are 400 pounds. Using your weight as an example of why people shouldn't listen to you isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm sorry, but it's not, because it's not natural for a human being to be over 400 pounds. And sadly, we've only made it a week from where we left off, but I think our time is pretty much up. This is why I have to do FatSapphicBro. I'm gonna do FatSapphicBro weekly until we're done with them. I have to lower the time on the weeks when I do only them, because there's just so much to wade through with them. There's so much to wade through, and there's so much to talk about, and there's so much to comment on. I need a break now. I need a break. So, I'm going to leave it here. Sorry that it's shorter than I would normally make the single videos each week, but FatSapphicBro is someone I have to... It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's definitely going to be a marathon. So, I'm going to end it here. Some quick notes. One, I'm still working through Cafe Enchanté. I'm on the route that I care least about, so it's taking me a while. As I mentioned, I gained a couple of pounds. I'm back up to 183, so I'm going to work on getting back on track this week, getting back down. And I am almost done with this quarter. I cannot express to you how much I want to be done with this quarter. I may very well get my first D ever. It's still technically a passing grade because I took the undergraduate version of the class, not the graduate version of the class. So if I can get a D or a C, which would be my first D or C ever, I will fucking take it, because I hate one of the classes that I have right now. I fucking hate it. God damn. But that's about all that's going on. I'm gonna end it here. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.